Hey, David here at Westwood Music. I want to just talk about what I do when I set up a guitar. And in this case, a Stratocaster. It's got more moving parts than any other guitar, so it's a good one to use as a demo. The very first thing I do always is say hello to the dog. Hey, Stella. First thing I do is measure the string height at the 12th fret as it is when the guitar player brought it in. Is he happy with the action as it is, or is he wanting, to make some adjustments to it? But before I do anything, I see exactly where we're at to begin with. So that gives me an idea what the string height is. Then I'm going to check the relief in the neck right around the 7th fret in the middle of the fingerboard. Okay. So that gives me a darn good idea about what's going on with the guitar. And when I do a setup, the very first thing I'm going to do is make sure that the neck relief is proper. Most cases, 0-12 at the 7th fret is my go-to neck relief. Depends on the player's style and the type of guitar. A Martin guitar with a flatter fingerboard radius, I usually go with 0-08. So it depends a little bit, and this is sitting pretty good at 0-12. I like that. Next thing I'll do, since I know the neck's properly aligned, is I'm going to check the height of the nut slots and how high is the string clearing that 1st fret. And you can use a feeler gauge for that. I do it just by eye. Press down here on the 2nd fret and see if there's any clearance between the nut and the 2nd fret. Has it got any clearance on the string over that 1st fret? And these are pretty low, but it's acceptable. So I know the owner of this guitar, and I know that he wants slightly lower action than what I would call our standard setup. Standard setup is about, on the electric guitar, it's about 12 relief, 7th fret, 4/64 treble side to 5/64 on the bass side at the 12th fret. And I will gradually raise those strings between the 1st and the 6th to follow the curve of the fingerboard. So this guy wants to go a little bit lower and a little bit straighter on the neck relief because that suits more of a sweeping guitar style. So rather than get into actually doing the movements, I'll just walk you through it. Tighten the truss rod, adjust it, check the action here. I would take all the strings off at that point when I basically got it almost set up. On a Stratocaster, take strings off, remove the back panel, remove the springs, and make sure that this bridge is absolutely free to move. And in this case, the Stratocaster, the choice is to have the bridge flat on the body. You can still use the whammy bar, but not to the extent you could if it was floating. The advantage of that is it's more stable for tuning. Also, you can bend a string and the bridge is not going to move up and go down in pitch as you're trying to go up in pitch, because that's just an argument waiting to happen. So those 6 screws here I adjust so that the bridge plate sits flush on the body and is free to move. Then I would put the springs back in and string it up with fresh strings. And then I would check the pickup height because that's going to affect your tone, your response, but also, especially with single coils, if they're too close, it's going to throw your intonation out. It's going to make your strings warble as you play higher up in the neck. So I set those to pretty much a Fender standard, which is 4/64 treble side, 6/64 on the bass side, and adjust from there. Have I missed anything? New strings, I put it back on, I check all the measurements again, and then I will, last but not least, set the intonation. So that's all done. Mechanically, I have measured, adjusted, set everything, and then I'm going to pick it up and play it. And this is where the tiniest of adjustments factor into the playability of the guitar. How does it feel in my hand? And up high, down low. The amount of neck relief will affect how easy it is to bend a string. So I want to balance between the ability to bend comfortably and to be able to do arpeggio sweeps. And that's all factored into what I'm going to do on a setup, particularly if I know where the client wants to go with his guitar. So there's a lot to it, and a good setup makes your guitar rock, makes your guitar your best friend. Thanks.